here we are, the week that changes everything. Saturn and Neptune are coming together at the very first degree of the zodiac, 0 degrees of Aries. And this is the once-in-a-generation transit that astrologers have been talking about for years. Are we on the precipice of paradigm shifts? Perhaps the convergence and intersection of multiple timelines? Am I being a little hyperbolic? Yes, yes I am. But with this transit in a year where there are multiple once-in-a-generation, if not once-in-a-lifetime transits taking place, if there ever was a time to be hyperbolic, it's now. Hi friends, it's Emily with Emily T Astrology, and I am your host for Hermes Speaks. This is your weekly astro check-in where we explore the current quality of time and bring in some added mercurial insight through the written word and bibliomancy. This week, the big news is that conjunction between Saturn and Neptune that is taking place on February 20th. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not gonna do much delineating of this transit. Why? Because astrologers have been talking about this for the last at least year, if not 2, 3, 5 years. This is a big deal, and there is a wealth of excellent astrologizing and content out there that delineates this transit. I would point you to my friends and colleagues who co-host the Weekend Wisdom series over at Nightlight Astrology. They put out an excellent episode just last Saturday. I will link that episode in the description of this video. If you are wanting horoscopes for the Saturn-Neptune conjunction for all 12 signs, I would point you to the episode that my co-hosts and I offered for the February month ahead horoscopes where we cover this transit. That video will also be linked in the description of this one. I would point you to astrologers like Chris Brennan of the Astrology podcast, S.J. Anderson, Catherine Urban, Dan Waits of World Astrology Report, Nick Dagan-Best, Austin Kopek. I mean, these are big names in the astrology world, all who have put out excellent information on this transit. So I am not going to go there beyond the bare bones. For our purposes today, I will be bringing in those mercurial messages through the written word. We'll listen to Hermes speak through a pull from a book. And I'm also bringing in some cards from one of my oracle decks. Mercury is currently in Pisces and will be for this conjunction. Let's listen to Hermes speak through some other oracular insights. But before we get to our consultation of the oracle, we do need to break down some particulars. This Saturn and Neptune conjunction is taking place on February 20th, 2026 at 0 degrees of Aries, the very first sign of the zodiac. These two planets come together once every 36, 37 years or so. The last time there was a conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, it was in the sign of Capricorn in 1989 and 1990. That period of time, we saw Tiananmen Square, we saw the fall of the Berlin Wall. Often we see large collective historical, societal world events that take place. Saturn is our planet of restriction, boundaries, reality, structure, and constriction. It's also the planet of age, time, maturity, and mastery. Neptune is our planet of fantasy, illusion, longing, and yearning, delusion, confusion, dissolving of things. Neptune is where we romanticize or glorify certain ideals, images. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It marks the vernal or spring equinox here in the northern hemisphere. It is a fire sign that is ruled by Mars by domicile and the sun by exaltation. It is a sign that speaks to boldness, courage, action, drive, impulsivity, instinct, impatience. I offered an episode a few weeks ago when Neptune first moved into Aries on this channel. If you would like a deep dive into Neptune in Aries, check that out. Let's take those key words. We've got Saturn, the planet of reality, structure, boundaries, limitations, contraction, restriction. Neptune, the planet of imagination, fantasy, delusions, confusion, the place of dissolution and escapism. And we've got Aries, a martial and solar sign that is active, that is fiery, impatient, bold, courageous, and what do we have? We might have the dissolution of boundaries. We might have the fall of walls, like the literal fall of the Berlin Wall. We might have the dissolving of structure. We might have the romanticizing, glorification, fantasizing about the martial or the solar. Perhaps there is going to be confusion around what is real. There could be the dissolution of our societal structures, right? We are seeing this, we are witnessing this in our communities and our collective. The scaffolding of our society seems to be collapsing, dissolving, and that is very much the dissolution, Neptune, of the scaffolding, the structure, Saturn, of our society in a way that has been violent at times, that has been loud, active, aggressive, bold, certainly Aries. So with that brief delineation in mind, what does the oracle have to say? We've come to the part of the show where I bring in those mercurial messages through bibliomancy, and this week I decided to pull from the book An Acceptable Time by Madeleine L'Engle. I read this book as a child, 11, 12, something like that, and I loved it. Well, today I was in the living room looking at my bookshelf, just standing in front of the bookshelf, and my daughter was in the living room with me. And she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm looking for a book for my next episode from, my YouTube channel." And nothing is jumping out at me. And then right after I said that, I saw the binding of this book, An Acceptable Time. And just as I was looking at that book and thinking, oh, maybe I could pull from that, my daughter said, "You could use An Acceptable Time." And I said, okay. Okay. So that's the book that we are pulling from today, An Acceptable Time by Madeleine L'Engle. So I thought about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and I opened the book and read this. There is meaning that you have come, meaning for the pattern. What pattern? The pattern of lines drawn between the stars, between people, between places, between circles, like the line between the great stone and the water in a box. Anaral, I'm very glad to see you, even in the middle of the night. But why have you come? To see if I could, Anaral said simply. Everybody else was asleep, so I could practice the gift all alone. I came and I called you, to know why you can come to my circle of time, to know if you have been sent to us by the presence, with a capital P. The presence? The one who is more than the mother, or the goddess, star maker, wind breather, earth grower, sun riser, rain giver, the one who cares for all. Corrales says that it happens only once or twice in a pattern, where the lines touch, so that circles of time come together with a threshold open in both directions. When this happens, there is a reason. The pattern of lines drawn between the stars, between people, between places, between circles. The presence is the one who is more than the mother, or the goddess, star maker, wind breather, earth grower, sun riser, rain giver, the one who cares for all. It happens only once or twice in a pattern where the lines touch so that circles of time come together with the threshold open in both directions. When this happens, there is a reason. There is a reason. Only once or twice in a pattern. So this is a once-in-a-generation transit. There hasn't been a conjunction of these two planets in the first degree of Aries, at 0 degrees of Aries, for something like, I think it's 6,000 years, something like that. What this is saying to me is that this truly is a moment in time that is rare, where there is a bending of realities, a very Saturn Neptune, where there is perhaps an intersection of multiple realities, of multiple timelines that is converging, where there is a portal being opened through which we can pass into different realities, into different paradigms. In this book, she's literally time traveling. I'm not sensationalizing that much. I don't think we're going to start time traveling. Okay, I'm not saying that. But there is something about this moment in time, in our collective, in our society, where we are offered, or perhaps we are being thrust into the recognition that there are other realities, other ways of looking at the world. I think about people who have gone through near-death experiences. Many of them say while they're in the midst of their near-death experience, they can be in multiple places at once or simultaneously, hovering above their body in the operating room and then thinking, I'd love to see my uncle, and they're suddenly there. They are with their uncle, right? There is something outside of our linear time, our linear structure of reality. Again, I am not saying we're going to learn how to time travel or, that all of a sudden the multiverse is going to be converging in all of us. But symbolically and metaphorically, this passage to me says that we are on the precipice of new realities, new timelines. We're in a moment of the dissolution of the scaffolding of our current reality. We might be on the precipice of new paradigm within our spiritual abilities. We might be on the precipice of there being an opening of more telepathic abilities. I'm sensationalizing, okay? Which I try not to do. But this passage says to me that we are on the precipice of reimagined ways of connecting with others, of connecting with other ways of doing things. Timelines are converging. Realities are converging. So now, for some added oracular insight, I decided to pull a few cards from one of my oracle decks. And given that Neptune is one of the planets that we're talking about here, I am pulling from the Shaman's Dream. The first one that I pulled in thinking about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, I pulled these cards after I read the book passage, so that informed what I was meditating on as I pulled them. And the first one that I got was the Horned Cactus, Resourcefulness. And I will read what the description in the guidebook says. Horned cactus, blooming through resilience, resourcefulness, discovery. When nothing seems to be happening fast enough, or your ideas have dried up, you begin to question your relevance. During these periods in life, you might feel like giving up, frustrated and resentful that success will never happen for you. The issue here, however, is a matter of perception. The horned cactus thrives in the barren desertscape, offering you the gift of water when all appears to be dry. If you look at its body, you see the natural horns that protect it from predators and the elements. What you don't see are the deep roots that extend far into the earth, filling it with a continuous flow of water. This succulent is a symbol of resilience, of resourcefulness, of your needs being met in spite of appearances to the contrary. It's a reminder of the courage and inherent wisdom needed to dig deep below the less than friendly surface that hides a rich underground world. Can you connect to this magical truth and trust? The desert is a mystical place, filled with mysterious creatures beautifully adapted to their environments. The horned cactus tells you to take heart. This journey is only temporary, and you will soon be met with greener pastures. But first, you must acknowledge your inner strength and fortitude as you're tested here. Be, as the cactus, resilient and resourceful. Okay, so what I hear with this is that the intersection of these multiple realities, of these timelines, these paradigm shifts that are coming in, we might feel a sense of urgency around, like, let the shift happen. Like, let's get past the crinky part, the hard part, the sitting in, the change part. We might feel, this is Aries we're talking about, we might feel a sense of impatience. If the revolution is coming, let's just get to the other side of the revolution, right? We might feel a sense of discomfort, like it's not coming, it's not happening fast enough, or it's not what we thought it was going to be. This card to me says, don't lose faith. Remember that there is deep, deep below in the roots of life, there is water. Maybe this is saying it's going to get worse before it gets better. Sorry, wah wah, but don't lose hope. Feel the tendrils of the roots beneath your feet. Find every drop of moisture down there and trust in your capacity for resilience. So this is the beginning. This is the first one, the horned cactus. Okay, and the next one that I pulled was first breath, beginner's mind. First breath, a fresh start and renewed curiosity, natural trust, beginner's mind. When the first breath card shows up, it is time to leave the old stories and tales behind. You have arrived. Take a deep breath and another. There is nothing else you need to do but take in the new world that is revealing itself around you. Trust your natural curiosity. There is no need to dwell on how difficult the journey has been or how tight the passage to get to where you are now. Just take it all in and experience the awe and wonder of your arrival at this destination. Even if it is a familiar place you have come to many times before, try to experience it as if for the first time, for you are renewed, and the old you is no longer your concern. Practice the beginner's mind, not labeling or naming what you see and experience. That situation that was so difficult only a few days ago, just be with it and breathe. You have already gone beyond it, have overcome and resolved it, even if no one else realizes this yet. Soon enough they will as you move on. Do not squander the power of first breath, giving the old narrative mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Right? Use it for new beginnings to animate a world you can play and create in. Do not underestimate the power of your breath and the magic of the world. Okay, so if at first it feels like these paradigm shifts are not shifting fast enough, or are harder, or are more violent, or more dry and arid than we expected, don't lose heart. Draw on your deep roots, okay? And then have a beginner's mind. Open yourself to curiosity. Trust that the new world is coming. At some point, you're going to open your eyes, you're going to take a deep breath, and it's a new world. Do not waste your breath trying to resuscitate the old storyline. Okay, so that's the second card. The last card that I pulled, covenant, sacred contract. Covenant, commitment, sacred contract, the greater good. You are being invited now by the universe to enter into a sacred contract. The covenant card may also be a call to recognize that an ancient agreement you made with spirit needs to be renewed or canceled and torn up. Is an opportunity showing up right now that is full of promise, but you are unable to sign and seal the deal and commit to it? The reason is that it needs to be elevated to a sacred covenant. A covenant must be founded on the truth, not your truth or his truth or her truth, but a greater truth with a capital T, that takes the destiny of all into account. The covenant is not about your agendas only. Spirit must be invited to come in to the table as guarantor of the good faith of all, and to ensure that the direction you are embarking in will be for the greater good. It's important that you understand what you are signing up for. Be sure to read the fine print so as not to commit to something you will soon regret or that will compromise your integrity. Do not hesitate to put all your own cards on the table so that your motives and desires are transparent and nothing is left in the darkness. When shadow elements remain hidden, the covenant breaks down and becomes a contract with an unspoken dark side that is inevitably fulfilled. Ooh, not mincing words there. Okay, so things might get harder before they get better. Have faith, draw on the water in the roots. The new world is coming. Do not waste your breath with resuscitating the old. Be curious, have a beginner's mind. And with integrity, with a connection to spirit, and with truth, with a capital T, and with the greater good in mind, commit to this new vision, to this new world, but commit with honesty and alignment with the greater good. Be really cognizant of what your motivations are, what the truth is. Be honest with yourself, because this paradigm is shifting. This paradigm is shifting, and it's time that we commit to it. It's time we commit to it with sacred spiritual covenant, a commitment based in truth and in honesty and in alignment with our values. It feels like a big week. Feels like a big moment in time. And you know what? You don't need me telling you that. You don't need the astrology telling you that. You don't need Mercury telling you that. You don't need the cards to tell you that. I know you don't. We're all living in this world. We can all feel it. Paradigms are shifting. And let's remember, like the cactus, let's remember we are rooted. Let's be in our integrity. Let's truly ask ourselves what we want this new world to look like, and not just with our own agenda. It says that in here, right? It can't just be your agenda, your truth, his truth, my truth, their truth. It's the truth with the capital T. Let's imagine a world, a new paradigm, a new timeline that is better for everybody. For everybody. Let's sign a new covenant. It's time. It's time. So I hope you got something out of this today. If you did, please click that notification bell. Take a couple seconds to subscribe. It really helps me and the channel. Like it. Give me a comment. What did you all think about this? Was this a little too woo? Was this too woo? Let me know. I want to hear from you. And if you are needing support at this moment in time, because this is a lot of big astrology happening this year, come see me. You can go to emilytotomer.com if you'd like to book a one-on-one reading with me. Can't wait to connect with you. Take care of yourselves out there. Take care of each other. And I hope you have a beautiful Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Hope you're making it through eclipse season okay. Hang in there. Hang in there. I'll see you next week.